Hi, guys. Hold on. I have to send out an invitation. Happy New Year. Are you having a happy New Year? Have you set goals? Have you created a goal? I'm curious to know what your New Year's goals are in an ever-changing world and how you intend on accomplishing that. Just send out an invitation. Hey, let's see if I can see anybody who's on here. So happy New Year's. Do you have a goal? I have a goal. Well, I don't really have a goal. We've done a campaign. We're starting a campaign for Summer Wells, who is the 5-year-old missing out of rural Tennessee. And she loved Paw Patrol. And she also had a puppy. And the puppy's name was Lucky. But apparently I heard, and I went to look for this, so I'm going to have to come back and give credit. Appalachia Trail, and I put her YouTube channel on my Facebook page, which is Claudia Olson Facebook, which I'll probably change to Have Coffee with Claudia. And I put it up there for you to, because she's the one where I get the information that she called her little dog Lucky Yucky. So we've been doing a campaign for awareness. I don't know how to put this. Let me see if I can. I don't know if you can put another YouTuber's thing in the comments. I'm still learning YouTube rules. So, where do I learn my YouTube rules? I learned them from other YouTubers. So I went through a vocabulary list with my sister the other night on the lingo of YouTube and what people find acceptable and not acceptable, because I wound up in some drama, and it was over 2 YouTubers, because I wanted to ask the neighbor of little Summer Wells, whose name is Jodisue, some questions about the dogs on the property. And if I can't I meant to get that link in here. If I can't get that link in, I was able to get on and ask Jodisue some questions. But I wanted, before we do that, because we're not making any money off of Summer Wells, but we are trying to create a campaign, and the whole Handstopaws team, who cannot say these words, which is very funny, and we'd like you to pipe in and join us on this campaign. And it's Summer Wells and her puppy Lucky, who now we know she called Yucky, official pack leaders for the Paw Patrol awareness team. Okay, that's the best I can do. I can't go help in the search. I'm here in Florida. I am not a true crime expert. We are What's Up Dog, capital W, capital U, capital D, where we will talk all things dog. And we will invite true crime in if it has to do with dogs, which Summer Wells does. So that's why and I follow a lot of the true crimers who I learn from. I watch how they grow on their channels. I watch how they interact with each other. I watch the rules. We stream on StreamYard, and I'm streaming on 2 platforms tonight. I'm streaming on my personal page, Claudia Olson, where I have a lot of this information. And I'm streaming on What's Up Dog, capital W, capital U, capital D, as in a dog named Wood. And Summer Wells had a dog named Puppy that she called Wood. She called him Yucky. How cute is that? And that is, to make a child smile is the best gift that I can give to Summer Wells, because I believe people are so incredibly passionate over this case, as though they should be. And if you want to help any of the dogs, that the Wells live on a mountain in Tennessee, a mountain. And this Summer has been missing for 6 months. And at this time of 6 months, they had 20 dogs on the property, and Lucky Yucky was only a puppy. So more dogs, I'm sure, have been born, and the Humane Society of Hawkins, Tennessee, probably could use all the donations possible to help neuter and spay. These things cost money, And I'm sure that in honor of Little Miss Summer Wells, she would find that a kicker. So I will post the crew trying to say this tongue twister, which is very cute. And it's done to make Summer smile, or any child smile. We also have started putting up, so guys, did you know that one of my favorite channels is Grizzly Bears, Grizzly True Crimes. I'm an OG. And I watched her channel grow with Gabby Petito's case because she was so involved. But did you know that Gabby Petito and, oh my God, I'm going to blank out on the names, the two other girls that went missing and Summer Wells are all in the same area? All of them. Do you know that they could have gotten the whole Brian Laundrie thing wrong? This is the reason why you should follow some of these true crimers. It is fascinating what is really going on. All right, but with Gabby, we know that Gabby and her boyfriend are no longer here, and she was in distress. We know that there was DV involved in that, correct? That much we know. We know Summer Wells was in distress. She's 5 years old. She has no point of reference to know what an abusive situation is or not. She has no point of reference. But we wanted to give anybody that does know or is in distress the signal. Okay? That's this hand signal for being in distress. For DV, for children. All the police should know it, and children should know it. And it should be practiced. Like any hand signal becomes muscle memory, right? And you get really good at it. So I want to make sure that I get in here. Hey guys, give anybody credit that goes live. Give them credit. Because if you think it's easy to sit here and just talk, it's not. So, and what are your New Year's resolutions? What are your goals? How are you going to make those goals happen? Are you going to give back? What do you do to give back? I know I give back all the time. I do. I give of my heart. I'm in the dog business, and dogs are my heart. Dogs, not just dogs, but people. I'm always giving back. Always. Always. Because there is not receiving without giving. And in my industry, people have been treated like dogs for so long, and at Handstopaws, that's not what happens. That's why we use organic shampoo, so it's healthy for the human being. We make sure that people have lunch. We make sure that people feel cared about. Because if you're not taking care of good care of your human beings, working on the dogs never stand a chance. That's why we're the home of kind handling. Okay? And not everybody's, we're always kind to the dogs. Every once in a while, customers, all the groomers out there, all the stylists, they have their things, and it is on us to treat them with kindness, because those dogs, all dogs are in service to their human. Let me say it again. All dogs are in service to their human. So, but you must be kind. So we won't tolerate being spoken badly to or being cursed at. What I'm learning in the YouTube community is that there's very much an etiquette, as Chris McDonough from the interview room would say, to keep it classy. So, all right. So back to Little Miss Summer Wells and our awareness. I am going to post. I got a chance. I wound up being in YouTube drama right at midnight. I woke up. I saw that Jodisue, who's the neighbor of Little Summer Wells, go on a panel with a couple YouTubers, and the channel I was on was by a YouTuber named Ziggy, who I don't really watch. I happen to see, I do now, right? Because I'm up there. They all posted about it, and there's my face at like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. I have no makeup. I literally jumped up because I really wanted to ask Jodisue some questions, and she's so forthright and giving and telling her story. You know, guys, this is all going to be a movie, right? You know, this is all going to be a movie. And you're watching Jodisue live and in person, and she is from her heart trying to, don't go for Jodisue. Okay. If anything happened with Jodisue that came out that was in any way of a negative light, I would be absolutely heartbroken. So please don't come for Jodisue. And Jodisue lives up in want to see in a very rural community, and as she expressed on Ziggy's live, is that they're not real fond of Northerners. I'm a Northerner. I'm sorry, Jodisue. It just happens to be where I'm from. Coming on the property and being, as she said, city slickers and just doing what they want in a community, a culture that has been established. So if you want to know more about that community and culture, I would go to Michelle Walks or Michelle After Dark to discuss some of these things. So I didn't get it in my thing, but I had wanted to post a video because Summer Wells' case is so important. It's so emotional. No matter what problems we think we have, unless you're losing a child or somebody's deceased, think about it, guys. You don't really have a problem, right? And I don't care whose mother's heart I'm speaking to. That includes, there are no perfect people here. And when you come into Handstopaws, there are no perfect people there either. So if you're going to walk in shame, dogs don't walk in shame. So moms, if you have kids that have been incarcerated or have opioid issues or have other issues, as long as they're walking, there's a chance, right? Summer Wells is missing. So I want Jodisue to know our heart, and anybody that's involved in this to know our heart. It is the heart of a mom and a grandmom that wants to get out awareness that shaming victims is inappropriate. Okay? It just is. That includes screaming of everybody's personal business, and it is just inappropriate. It's just inappropriate. Shaming is inappropriate. What we discuss at Handstopaws is if you bring in a dog and that dog is in horrific condition, right? It is in horrific condition. For every one that comes in like that, the other 80% will never, ever see a grooming salon. You know how many stylists are out there giving just services? They will do it just to get the dog out of trouble. But here's the thing. Once you shame that person, you've excluded that person. Okay? You've excluded their opportunity to walk in non-judgment. Now, I'm not saying that Don and Candace shouldn't be questioned. I'm not saying this case doesn't have all sorts of implications. I'm just saying be careful, okay? Be careful before you make those judgments and you have all the facts. And a lot of YouTubers speculate, and I like the speculation. I find it very entertaining. But the goal here is for a 5-year-old child. So I'm going to post, or I'm going to try to put in the comments, and if I can't do that, please go to my Facebook page, because I do not believe I can repost another YouTuber's content on my channel because I'm still learning the rules. And it's going to be of Jodisue being emotional like somebody is or would be when a child went missing. She is literally in tears, and I want you to feel and hear her pain. So I want to get that out there to you because it's for real. That was for real. She asked why people are doing what they're doing when they didn't know this little girl. She brings it home and for real. She is speaking of her own DV and escaping her own DV. She is recovering from cancer, and she is going on these panels. Okay, and by the way, a panel on YouTube means just like if you guys were to jump on live with me right now, that you could be part of my panel. Unfortunately, I'm not techie to be as good at everything as they are. Hey, Ellen. So they're super fantastic about it, and I'll get there, but today's not that day. Today's New Year's Day. So our goal will be to move forward this campaign. And the campaign is strictly an awareness campaign because no abuse is acceptable in any form. However, children and then dogs, okay? Because it happens to do this. You're going to ask me what that drama was I was involved with? My face at, oh my God. Here I woke up just because I wanted to ask Jodisue questions. And in this video, please go watch this video. She screams it with so much passion. The dogs will tell you the story. Okay? Dogs and little kids. Dogs and little kids. Super important. That dog, Lucky, aka Yucky, because she couldn't say the name. That dog brought her happiness. You hear me? The dogs brought happiness. I also posted on my personal Facebook page, which will wind up being Coffee Time with Claudia, another great video from the channel that I got that information from, where it goes through whether search dogs are admissible evidence in a court of law. Good question. Good question. Right, dog people? Please throw me out all the information. Hey, guys. Happy New Year. So, is dog evidence admissible in court? And when you watch that right now, it's saying only bloodhound, and there are conditions to that. Isn't that interesting? So we're going to do the campaign. I'm going to start posting. The campaign is meant to make you smile. It is meant to be a tongue twister. It is a gift of awareness to Jodisue. Jodisue, it is a gift of awareness. I feel your pain. Okay. So now I want to do this with all the YouTubers out there. Everybody started off with having 1 or 2 followers. Then they had 4 followers. Then they had 10. Then they had 20. And then they got up to their thousands, right? So forgive me as I go along. I am learning the words and the verbiage and what means what. So we are a channel that is trying to partnership with YouTube. Let me make that clear. We are not making any money. Okay. We are trying to partner with YouTube. I will have paid live events on Facebook. I will have live events on Handstopaws personal. It's not my personal. I will have live events on Handstopaws Facebook page. Woo, that was tongue twister. Facebook page for specific things concerning grooming. Okay. And I'll be having a live event very shortly. It will be a paid, won't be a lot of money, a paid live event. Our social, my other part of my social media team at this point's name is Sky. Happy New Year, Sky. And she is put together the presentation and the topic. Okay, so I've asked her to pick the topic because sometimes you get more things done quicker when somebody takes a part of that and they, hey, Lisa, Happy New Year, when they take a part of that. So let me go through this again. Lisa, I have a campaign going. I'm about to post a video to Handstopaws Facebook page, which is everybody saying exactly the banner at the bottom. Okay. And that is for a little girl named Summer Wells, who's missing in the mountains of Tennessee, in rural Tennessee. And she had a dog named Lucky that she apparently couldn't say Lucky and called her Yucky. I am going to be Happy New Year. Aw, thank you to the vet. Because I'm a stylist by trade of 38 years. And the reason, what makes a good stylist, let me tell you that. Summer, listen, if you ever wanted to grow up and be a dog groomer, I'd be happy to teach you. And what makes a good stylist is kindness and heart. Okay, you can learn all the skills. It's a matter of practice. But what makes the person good is their actual heart. Okay? So, and at Handstopaws, there are no perfect people. There are no perfect people. There are people that have accomplished goals. They have set goals in their lives. They have overcome goals because we're all about the babies. That's right. Because we're all about the dogs. We are all about the dogs. And as I build this YouTube channel and I build Handstopaws Facebook even further, it is about the dogs who are angels on 4 to you, the people. Okay. And even these YouTubers, Molly Golightly, I think I got it right this time, Betty Bullhorn, Molly had a dog on her lap. So she's right out there, right? Causing all sorts of controversy. But there she is with sweetness with a pug on her lap. The only time I saw Candace completely sweet is in an unedited version, which I believe is also from the Appalachian Trail YouTuber who, if you go on my Facebook page, just hit on that link and it'll take you right there. She showed the pre-clip to their original interview where Candace is actually snuggling that puppy, Lucky, who Summer called Ucky, yucky, yucky, is what she said. So the sweetness you can see with all the animals. And if you need to send donations, please send them to the Humane Society in Hawkins County. $11 years. That's right, Lisa. It's been 11 years. That's right, 11 years. And did you see Precious on the video? How cute was the video? Precious. And she loves, every time she comes, she gives me a great big hug. Yeah. I love me some Lisa. Lisa's from the South. Lisa's my original Southern lady. Boy, she is some tough as nails. Tough as nails in this, the thing about, I'm a New Yorker. So Jodisue, if you ever watch these, I'm definitely a New Yorker. You probably just wouldn't like me based on when I open my mouth, but I really like you. And I think that you and I have a common goal, and I hear your pain. But I know Lisa can tell people in the nicest way ever where to go, and they haven't been insulted. And she is smart. She is smart. She's a bookkeeper. She is smart cookies. Yes. And I am blessed that she has honored me to be her friend in my life. I'm super honored by that because, so Lisa, we need help with this campaign. We just need to get it out. My sister, Nicole, and it becomes a tongue twister. So Summerwell Pup and her puppy Lucky, who now we know was called Yucky, are official paw pack leaders for the awareness team. And you're going to enjoy that video too, because to watch the crew say this was hysterical. But they are on that goal. And I do think that I'm going to, as we take down the painting from Christmas on our windows, we are going to make an awareness sign. And that's all I know how to do, other than talk dog and bring awareness. And Lisa, we've been discussing, this came very big during the Gabby Petito case. Can you see my hand? That this is for women in distress. So if you're a kid and you don't know, because children have no points of reference, right? They only know what they know. But if you are a DV victim, this is your signal. Police officers, other women, a young woman's life was saved because she passed a police officer and was able to give this signal. Okay, muscle memory. So practice it, know it. Please, everybody needs to know this. Okay, and that is from being spread because of the Gabby Petito. Thanks, Lisa. You got to go check out What's Up Dog. Capital W, capital U, capital D, as in a dog named Wood. And Summer Wells had a puppy named Lucky, who she called him Yucky. So please go watch the video. Nicole, you watched the video I sent of Jodisue.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. It was very sad. It sounded like, from what I remember, she was saying, well, maybe she was taken to a better place, and it sounded like she had some guilt over the situation.
She was crying her eyes out.
She was.
She was crying her eyes out. Did you feel the energy of the love of this child?
Yeah, from her I did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that one of the things that she's battling now is, hey David, how are you? Can you read?
Jodisue is going to be arrested. It's soon enough, so maybe you should give her that message. And even Candace and Grandis anytime now. So why is David saying she's going to be arrested? Because I just don't know. Because the FBI will come knocking once again at her door, and you got my word on that. Someone is going to talk. So do you think that she had something to do with it, or that she was hiding something?
Speculation alert. Okay, so let's go through. David, thank you so much for commenting. Hey, Ren, what's up, dog? Hi, Dorothy. Hey, Dorothy Mascara. Happy New Year. Boy, I'd like you to come on one day and talk dog because you got the New York dog. That would be so exciting. So David, thank you for coming on. And I'm going to be heartbroken, honestly, if
Yeah.
Jodisue is involved in this in any way. I do believe that of all people, so let's go to what Nicole just said. You would have guilt.
If I heard something next door and I didn't act, I would have guilt. And I think, as New Yorkers, my speculation is a lot of times people were very, and you know what I'm talking about, they were very callous to things that would go on. And sometimes people wouldn't help you if you called for help. And we would be taught yell fire because people respond to that
Mhm.
as maybe opposed to help me. So I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing to teach our children too, is to yell fire. But I don't know because I'm still kind of learning all about this case. If she said she did hear a yell, I don't recall if she called the police at that point or if she was just, if that's where the guilt's coming from, we know that there's trauma with her and maybe because of what happened, hindsight is always 2020. Maybe that's where some of that guilt is coming in. I don't personally think she, and it's not up to me. Thanks to her boyfriend saying he saw. Oh, so I guess what David is saying is the boyfriend saw Summer with. They saw Summer with Jodisue the day she disappeared. See, I didn't know that.
Well, I'm going to agree with David. The police and the FBI have the information. I also
Yeah.
know, I believe Chris McDonough because he says they're doing a good job and that indictments will be coming. It will be shocking if she's involved. I jumped on that live and wound up in a bunch of YouTube drama. Remember, I told you, and I keep talking to it because they're still discussing it. And I'm still like, oh God, there's my face. However, these people have done a lot of work. I cannot imagine that the Tennessee police do not appreciate. I'm sure that a lot of them are a pain in the butt, but they've done a lot of real time. They have scrutinized everything, 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 and there is land issues, and there was land stuff. When I spoke to Jodisue, it was very much about the land.
David, do you know what time that she saw that Summer was with Jodisue? Because there were different things that they did that day. I know they went to the doctor, they went to swimming, yes, ma'am, and he talked.
So, David, do you have a channel? David Cohen. I'm gonna go look you up, David.
Yeah, he seems to have some information. Maybe we need
Yeah,
to.
he does. We just want to be careful. And David, I'm not saying you're a troll, but we're green to YouTube, so we don't know what a troll actually looks like, right?
We do not. Well,
Oh, he's saying he does six. What is he saying? What is this?
6:45 p.m. On YouTube, you'll be live 6:45 p.m.
Oh, we'll be on. I'll be on.
Mm-hmm.
I will
Oh,
absolutely be on, David. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for talking to us. I hope you promote our campaign for the awareness because no matter how this turns out, and if it does turn out that people are implicated and indicted and have anything to do with that is horrific. I do know Jodisue is leaving in a DV situation, and I know you're not the only YouTuber to say that. However, I haven't gotten that impression from Chris McDonough, who does say they're about to have some resolution. There will be arrests. Make no mistake, just like you and I discussed, Nicole, the other night. Nobody that has a missing child feels the need when he says he knows about prison mentality. I'm going to let you know that I've never been in prison myself, but I happen to deal with the system and I know what prison mentality looks like. And if you had any kind of brains, you wouldn't be taking the people that are looking for the child you say you want home on a
right.
wild goose chase and then handing out drugs. knowing darn well the only reason they're not arresting you is because they're looking for the other fish. That's, I mean, come on. You could have you don't have to always have good police officers. You can have corrupt police officers.
Mhm.
Nobody's that corrupt. Okay, they know they're being watched. And David, do you know if the Tennessee, that they have cams? Are they walking around? Like I know in Citrus County, we do not have body cams in Citrus County. Do the police officers in Hawkins have body cams?
The blue and greenish van left at 3:50. Okay. So tell us about the van because I don't know. Was that Jodisue's van?
Yeah, we might have to, David. You might have to put a link to your live tonight, what time and everything, because we're not going to be able to. We have more questions for you than you have for us. And our thing is we really want to promote the awareness campaign because no matter who's involved, this is becoming a new trend, and we have to trend on the side of standing out against abuse, right?
Yeah.
And that knowing that children and dogs are on the bottom of that. And this little girl, these dogs need to be taken care of. According to Molly Golightly, they were not in good shape. But the thing with Molly is she is very New Yorkie, right? She's very Puerto Rican, Jewish New Yorkie. You know what I'm talking about, Nicole? She's like, right? She's very like, and I mean, like I could have coffee with her at the Jewish deli down the road. I'd be very comfortable, but it can come off abrasive. So, and
yeah, I'd like to get more information from David.
Yeah, she said those dogs were not in good shape. I think I know who David is. I think I got you, David. I think I know who. And David, David. I'm not positive, so I don't want to say.
I would like to see resolution.
The land is so this is so interesting to me, David.
Neighbor that is fighting okay.
Over the land issue. Nicole, when I jumped on, remember this is going to be my famous story, how I get introduced to the community that I so want to be a part of, right? Is I wake up, I jump on this live. I'm literally, my hair's this way, it's that way, it's everywhere. I'm literally running into my little YouTube studio to be able to ask Jodisue a question. She is on a panel, and there is another YouTuber on there that I've now started following, and they discuss land. Like I stopped talking. I mean, I'm so minute in this whole conversation, but Michelle Walks does a whole thing on the land in Tennessee, right? She discusses the culture between the land in Tennessee, right? Just like we did the other night. Culture is culture anywhere. Community is community anywhere. Jodisue told me to stay off her mountain. I would stay off her mountain. Even here in Citrus County, Florida, you don't go walking on people's property. No. We are in the horse capital of the world. They will shoot you.
They will, even if you don't. Yeah, they will if you don't have a horse. I have a funny story about that, but I don't know if it's appropriate for a live.
Yeah.
It's not related to this.
Well, and David, everybody's believing. I know what you're believing, David, because I follow it too. We're about to start bringing this awareness. And that's why we're doing this awareness campaign, because, and I hope you discuss it tonight, David, signs and symbols. What are the signs and symbols? How do you know? What are the colors? What are the representations of really underhanded things with children? Okay. And I know here in Florida, Daytona is known for it really well too. And downtown Ocala. And I wouldn't go up Jody Judd from Polk County, who's kind of made a name for himself for getting up there and calling people out. Let me tell you a Jody Judd story. Somebody got mad at their company, and they were at a security guard, So he decided he was going to hack their computers. Okay. Jody Judd went on, told everybody about this story. So he went on, he was going to hack their computers. So guess what? They traced it back to him. So they went to the laptop that he used to hack the company's computers that he was mad at. So what did he get? What did they find? They found all sorts of CP on it, right? You know what I'm talking, CP? Because we can't say things.
Okay.
Child.
Yeah, okay. I gotcha.
Yep.
You lost me for a minute.
Yep.
But
So now he's going away for that because he was
Mhm.
being spiteful because people think they can do whatever they want.
You know, people, this going back to people are just so evil.
Yeah, that's why I like Evil Exists, because it talks about it may take years. Once it took me 7 years and found her in New York, and now woman in jail for the next 15 years and got 10 to go. She's lost her children and money. David, who are you?
You know,
You
we need to have our children be supported with positivity and love so they can grow up. They're the future. You know, this is our generation who's going to be in charge. So I don't know what's going on in the world that people are doing this to a child. Sorry, my child's interrupting
Well,
me.
there is an opioid crisis, so let's talk about that a little bit. There's an opioid crisis, and
You know,
there is a history here with Mr. Wells. He has tried to sell children before. And where I would have questioned that, I watched Chris from the oh God, I'm just losing my memory. I watched the interview room last night where he went through the history of Don Wells with
yes,
the
I
children.
listened to that. It was hard to listen to.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's
Definitely
heartbreaking.
a trauma alert if you're listening to
And
that.
we ought trauma alert. Yes. And
You know, I work with very young children and they're so vulnerable and they wouldn't be able to talk or advocate for themselves, and it's just so wrong, and I don't understand it. You know, we have to support them. It's not right. We got to say it is just not right. Oh wow.
David, please make sure you put down. Do we just go to David Cohen? Because we're going to be watching you tonight. Nicole, let's change our plans. Can you come over to watch David live?
Yeah, I can come over.
David, if you put up a link and you want us on, we'll jump on with you.
The time is on my side. Wait it out, and good things do come.
Thank God. Bring us good news. Bring us positive, because we're out there to send a positive message. And David, I'm going to upload the video. What I wanted to do is I definitely wanted to get on and explain, because people are going to laugh. And my goal of this video and to get this campaign going is that children giggle. What do we love about children? I love the sound of a child's giggle, right? It's instant, make you smile, especially children with dogs. And we just want to start an awareness campaign. Be aware. What I'm learning from some of these YouTubers that are really, really doing their jobs are signs and signals. They are bringing the subjects to the forefront, which is the subject of abuse in any manner. They're bringing it right to the forefront. They're making it open conversation. Nicole, would you like to go through your credentials so David knows who he's talking to?
Well, I have a long history. I'd have to count, I don't know, 15 years as a mental health case manager. When I moved to Florida, I became a DCF case manager for 3 years. Now I'm certified I'm a certified ESE teacher. So I work in an elementary school.
With children Summerwell's age.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm in pre-K now, but I've gone up to 4th grade. But when, you know, I was a DCF case manager, we had some very sad stories.
Right. Because abuse rolls downhill. If we don't address it, it doesn't end, right? That we've all heard the cycle. So cycles have to be broken. They just have to be broken. The only way to break them is to talk about them. The only way to break them is to, when somebody calls you saying, oh, you're acting like a victim. Well, are you bashing a victim? Are you telling that to a victim so that you're excusing what's happening to them? Just that language, right? Which I've used. Have you ever used it, Nicole?
Probably every day.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very great way. I do, you know, and I'll catch myself in when you're dismissing what's happening, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
We
yeah,
do, I think it's human nature to have a lot of psychological defense mechanisms.
mhm.
It's
I
just
would
about,
agree with that.
yeah, it's about
I would.
awareness of your thoughts. Yeah, he's
Wow.
saying
How do you know
money.
how much money they have in their bank?
We gotta get on there and talk to David tonight.
Yeah, I think that you
Yeah,
should come
so
over tonight. We can be like with the popcorn, and if David wants us to come on the panel, we'll come on. I will support anybody that is getting information out for awareness. And we are praying. I went on Evil Exists channel, and I said, if that little girl were there and she had passed there, she would be there. But the statistics are against her to be alive. But according to some of these guys, they think she is very much alive. They think, including Chris McDonough of the Interview Room, they're really thinking there's a good chance that Summer is going to come home.
I hope so.
And even if she does, there are so many victims out here, David. Listen, I am watching victims that we knew what I watched 20 years ago be victimized in the most horrendous things that are on YouTube channels today and are talking awareness. They're out there, their faces, right? This is what happened to me.
Yeah.
And this is who I've become. And this is what I do to help prevent that.
Trauma
So,
alert. When I worked as a DCF case manager, when I was in training, the person training us was a certified sex trafficking, and I'm not getting the title right. Certified sex trafficking. The person that goes out and qualifies if someone has been trafficked, because if that happens to you in the state, you qualify for funding for therapy. They put you in a special housing. Like, I don't even remember. I had written a paper on how much money it costs the state. It's pretty a large amount. And there was a very active case that he had been working on a very young girl that had been taken by a big trafficker in this area. And he used to tell us the stories of what she went through at a young age. So, and there was a few other cases that.
Summer Wells.
Oh, you're the bloodhound and found him. He was, what was it called? He would be the one that would go out and assess. He would do the assessments, and he would help with like the recovery and giving them what they needed to get out and get back on their feet. And I've had him talk to some youth that I know, just because they need to know that this is real. It's not, you watch it on YouTube and you see it on TV, but I think it's easy to separate yourself because social media kind of does that. I think when you know that it's real and it's more flesh and blood, and I saw it firsthand. I had cases. So
Trauma alert.
trauma alert, man.
Trauma alert. And I
Yeah.
agree with you. People, they remove themselves from it. I don't want to think about it.
No,
I
not it either. I don't want to. And in some ways, it can be kind of unhealthy to get too fixated on it. But we need people to go out there and help. So thank you for doing that. And I thank the people and
David.
workers and this person that I know. Thank you for being there, because where would they be without you?
Yeah, we need, right, which is what I'm just, here we are, a little grooming salon in Beverly Hills, Florida, and I'm going to post the awareness. Listen, these people are everywhere. And it's really disgusting, disturbing when you see grandpas on there, right? And when you go through the papers and you see, or you look up who the predators are and how old they are in your area, right? These are usually people that you're going to invite in your home.
And yeah, I've had situations where that's, you don't know. Sometimes you don't know. You need to be looking on that registry.
So the other thing that I found really interesting when I was in all the drama on Ziggy's channel, and I just wanted to ask Jodisue about the dogs, and we're still going to post that video, David, because I'm sure I hope that everybody is genuine, that they had any love for this child. I don't even know if that can all come out right. Because, I know non-perfect parents, and I work with people that have literally changed their lives and reunited themselves with their children,
We've
and
had
have children that have done things, and they're still trying to do good things. And our system is set up to make people better criminals, not to get out of the system, and not to have any kind of real rehabilitation. And then that doesn't stop any of the problem. It encourages them and keeps them moving, because we also know that jails and prisons are also business. People need to be there, some people, right? But for the other people that are not horrific SAs and murderers and just, the drudge of the earth, those other people that have opiate problems, right? Because it's an epidemic, and get into petty stuff. We can take children from war zones and we can rehabilitate them. We can start reinitiating programs to help rehabilitate our youth. On the subject of Summer Wells, when I'd gone on Evil Exists, when they were kind enough to allow me to jump on their show, they had put up NSOPW. It's an app. NSOPW. This was their number one recommendation for an app that would tell you about SA predators in your local area. I'm going to do it again. NSOPW. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And they also recommended Predator Hunter Nation, if you were interested in these things. And like Nicole said, be careful, right? Make sure your head's in the right area, because too much of that could also be damaging too. So, but we live in a different world. When you and I were growing up, So, I'm going to be the first one. There was a news anchor years ago, that we were in Florida, and I lived in Fort Lauderdale, and we had all the horrific hurricanes, and he walked us through all the hurricanes. And next thing I knew, they were arresting him as a predator.
Oh my God.
It was heartbreaking. And dear Lord, hope that that's not true of Jodisue.
Well, I've had a few situations with the different things I've been involved in where the person in this organization have been offenders, and
David, I have some people I might need you to hunt down. We should be friends with David.
Well,
and hopefully David's, we're going to watch his channel, and hopefully, David, we're not green. And I don't know how YouTubers vet each other. I know in the grooming business how to vet everybody, but I don't know. So please don't take any of my concern as insulting.
And like we said, God bless what you do.
Yeah, God bless what you do. And God bless going to get those bad guys, because
it's bravery. It's frightening, and they are scary people.
David, do you think there's any corruption in the police department in Hawkins that has allowed some of this to go on? And it's just a question. I'm going to question police, because I've known corrupt police and I've known super great police. And right now I happen to be following all the police, but I also know that there's a lot of corruption, and I don't know anything about Hawkins County corruption, but is that a possibility that there's been cover-ups going so that it create what the terms Jodisue used with me was a perfect storm. So let me tell you what my question was to her. And I don't know, because I have no way of knowing, right? So I don't know if she was tired. I mean, I'm a nobody to these people. So she talked about it being a perfect storm for this to happen. They're all the outsiders. There's people working on the property. They have people looking up land documents. It's super important. I didn't take it as serious until I actually was live with Jodisue, because she is dead serious about these property things, okay? And my question to her was, with all that going on, would Summer have gone missing anyway? And was there a ring? Is there a ring? David, is there a ring?
Dave said he's got a lot of really important information, so I'm really looking forward to being on his channel. And he's been really helpful.
If he invites us on, David, we will go on. We understand if you don't want us.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, we're going to come listen to what he says.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and Jodisue didn't answer that. She didn't answer me the name of the other dogs on the property. Her too. I know one of her dogs' name is Ginger, but I don't know if that then all this other drama starts. So I have no idea if that was personal or not personal. And they're just inviting me up as to ask questions. And but I didn't really get the answers to my questions. However, I did wind up with information, including, right, Nicole, really valuable, good etiquette on YouTube, because they're still talking about this drama. And I didn't even want to bring too much attention to this drama. So we just did one on the etiquette, how to survive on YouTube. Because we do know people will come for us eventually. We will prepare for that.
Yep. What you should know is, wow. So I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this, but were you able to?
I don't know, David, I thought YouTubers found Gabby.
I don't remember who found Gabby.
I know who found the YouTubers who saw the van.
So, okay.
He said that the reason I'm
this video
talking to you.
Whoever took somewhere else is going to see your video and know I'm.
Oh, that's. So why do you think because you think they're following anybody that's talking about the case? Because we're definitely talking about it, because I have been following all the YouTubers. I started with Gabby Petito, and then because I was and what was so touching about that story is her parents. Her parents' need to find where their child was so touching. Mohab, that's what that. So Brian Laundrie, Gabby Petito, and the Mohab girls that were murdered were all seen. They were all in this exact same location. So did we get that all wrong, David? Was Gabby Petito murdered by somebody else other than Brian? Did Brian actually commit suicide, or was Brian meeting somebody? Do we have that right? Do we have that wrong?
I don't know.
And then it's also in the same location as Summer Wells. Seriously?
So this was all the same location? I didn't realize that.
Right. And I keep watching and watching to verify that information is correct. But yes. All right, David. I'm not saying you're lying. I'm just saying we're green. We are green. And we are
this is like new territory for us. We became
it's brand new territory. We didn't even know. Like I went on this I want to be, people, they ask for people to come on. Tyler Fuller asked people to come on. I would like people to come on. Evil Exists asked people to come on. Ziggy even asked people to come on so they could ask questions. And what a great way to know people. So, but during that, we're learning about trolls. We're learning all the etiquette. We're learning who we want to be involved with and who we don't want to be involved with. We want to learn how to stay in our lane, and we want to call it out. Because listen, what happened the other night was not good for the gentleman YouTuber who did go on, Nicole. I sent you the apology.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, he went on and made a heartfelt apology. He truly made a heartfelt apology. Or at least I believe he truly did. His finances could have been affected by it too. And he could have been apologizing for that reason.
No, I think that, like you said, people are actually good. And I think he probably was apologizing.
Yeah, but he definitely went over the edge when you're talking about abusive behavior and then you're acting in abusive behavior. And I know he made me go, oh, that's abusive. So yeah, and we're little girls growing up in Grand Central Station where we had to watch out for pimps.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
all the time, and they would get young people hooked on drugs, and they'd go after the runaways. But we're not in that world anymore. That is now escalated to a brand new level. David, I appreciate you.
So how do we know how to find David? The phobia told me not to talk about. Oh. So David, do we know how to find him later? Like, are we going to be able to find him?
We're going to look up David Cohen. They're going to go right as soon as I'm done with this. I'll be on there. I'll set an alarm. You're coming over. We're going to watch David tonight.
Do we need a link? Because I'm always good.
Once he goes up, if he wants us on, he'll throw on a link.
Okay.
As soon as we have our text down here, I figured out how to get the link in the comment sections too. So we literally can put up the link like they do, and then you can just go in the link. Who didn't get your cigars yet? I bet you have a good sense of humor, David.
It seems like it, right? You need to have one.
Seems like he has a really, and listen, I so appreciate him coming on and just talking to us. Nicole, tell us what you tell us about kids all the time and their abusive parents.
Well, you know, we were always trained that kids love their parents no matter what, and will go to them, and will often change their story to protect their parents. It's human nature.
In a case like this where the boys, Molly Golightly had this really interesting piece of, because she's not a Jodisue fan, right? And right, we discussed that, and Jewish, Puerto Rican, very metropolitan, right? I could see having locks at the Jewish bagel place with her. She, over the holidays, thank you, Lisa. Help us do our campaign. I love you, my Southern belle. Because Southern women are raised so much more politely than we were.
Well, you know, in New York, we weren't always very polite.
They were, no. One of my stylist friends just put up a thing about all you New Yorkers. I was like, oh God.
True. You know, it took me a while. It took me a while to try to be a little more friendly.
Yeah, because it's definitely a nicer mix, the Northern from the Southern. The Southern are definitely taught better manners than we youth are. But, you know, we're putting, you know, I wouldn't want to go, if Jodisue's saying don't go into those areas, I would believe her, but I wouldn't want to go. Most people didn't want to come into my neighborhood when I was growing up. It was definitely the hood.
Yeah, we had a few situations.
Yeah, we were taught to be tough.
We were.
So, and on my original true crime case, David, if you ever wanted to know, is I lived right down the road from the Son of Sam. He literally was right on the hill. So here was David Berkowitz. This was the hill that I walked up to school every single morning, which is like this, a big incline, you know, back in the day in the snow, and we'd have to walk uphill. True story. And David Berkowitz, who is the Son of Sam, literally lived, I passed his house and Van Cortlandt Park on my way to school every day. So the police officer that got the ticket that gets into the house was my dear friend's uncle. Okay, off subject. And I had Dobermans to protect me in there.
Well, what I would ask you, David, you know, someone had said that they had friends that would come, maybe not the most positive friends. Is it possible a friend came onto the property that maybe the dogs knew?
Yeah, they would have had to been quiet. Like, so if Dawn was, you know, as Jodisue said, kicking, because, you know, people are throwing stones at each other right now. Okay, so Nicole, I don't know if you're aware of this, but now the stories are starting to change, or as the pros like to say, the pros I'm listening to like to say, they're starting to evolve. And so a lot of the stories now are throwing Jodisue under the bus. So what does that mean to me? It means that they are getting ready for defenses, right? Because I believe Chris McDonough and I believe David, indictments are coming. Okay. They haven't been sitting around doing nothing. Oh, so when you're listening to Molly Golightly or you're listening to Bullhorn Betty, and they're saying, you know, what about this? What about this? Guys, we know they're doing something. The FBI, everybody's involved. They're putting together maybe a bigger case, possibly on a ring. All right. So that I totally believe. I don't believe everybody's a complete. Do you know what I mean? We don't have these organizations because they're run by nipwads. They're doing something. But Jodisue did say this. She said that everybody in the community was focused on sending things to people announcing that on YouTube. She said that social services, if you called social services, you donated to that county for those boys whose names are Wyatt. David, do you know the boys' names? I have them written down. To the boys, if you put that in their names, that they will get those gifts. Do you know if that's true, Nicole?
I don't know.
Is there a way we can find that out?
I'll see if I can research it.
Okay, yeah, and I thought, and I wrote down the boys' names, and I have it in here. I also wrote down where to send them, the name of the social services that they were with, because she had listen, you don't have to like somebody, and I don't dislike her. And I actually like Bullhorn Betty a lot. I like that they're outspoken, okay? Even if it's brass sometimes, at least they're speaking their truth. Molly I thought that was an excellent point, that those boys, if you're going to donate over the rest of the holiday is pretty much over now, but even after I haven't even had my holiday yet, post holiday, and you wanted to contribute, instead of just contributing, I could put my PayPal, and I could put Cash App, and I eventually will, because I'm going to say it again, guys. We want to be educational, and we want to be a good channel, an awareness channel, but we definitely want to monetize. So I watch Trish. She is from Missing But Not Forgotten. She also is suspect, David, super suspect, and she does some homework. This girl, I like this girl. She's very transparent about her life. But she won't monetize on this. She says she won't make any money off of this. So we're not making any money off of this at all. But I don't want to be caught up in that. Do you know what I mean? What we discussed the other night, that you're doing a YouTube channel. It's your time. It takes money. It's an act. It's work. It absolutely is work. It's work just to go live. Shout out to you for doing your 100 Day of Lives. You now this is your third live, right?
Well, I guess it could count as my third live. I mean, I didn't know if I was doing it by lives or by days, so I've done 2 today.
Yeah. So I'm
this on my page because I want people who follow me to know that I do more than just, I've got different things that we discuss, because it's a community, and there's a lot of things that we talk about that are important that I want to share on my page. And I tell people to follow and look for you so they can see us.
Right, because we're building a community. Remember, a community, every single one of these YouTubers that I follow, and I follow them.
Well, I still want to know, David, not being the expert at all, like if someone else could have come on that they had associations with. That's all I would ask, but I don't know.
Well, listen, Jody, listen, I don't ever want to believe that. It will break my heart. Let me just say that right now.
Yeah.
However, because I've definitely been one of her number one fans.
Yeah.
However, there were evidence. The evidence will tell the story. Jodisue was on the property.
So he's saying
know that right. We know who all the close players were. We know that the close players were, and this thing about the land, Michelle Walks, she called it out. These true crimers, they're not playing. They, and I'll give Bullhorn Betty today talking about her own drug addiction, and, that she's on there, and what she did 20 years ago doesn't affect the person she is today. I'm going to tell you, for every person that I hire that is doing amazing and creating a life for themselves, they don't need their past thrown up at them, right? They've moved beyond that. For anybody that goes in and is incarcerated and can actually change their life, remember, they have families, they have lives. The story, as Tupac once said, God ain't finished with you yet. And then we also know that the most prevalent predictor of future history is relevant past history. Would we agree with that?
Yeah.
So, and, you know, she was on the property, and we know the evidence will take us directly there. And I don't think that everybody now, and I'm not going to disagree with the ladies when they're willing to have the police department questioned and held accountable for actions. I think that should happen everywhere, right? I don't think that. I think
Supposed
that
to
if
be
you're
accountable no matter what. You know, just because you're in a certain position doesn't give you the right to be any abusive in any way.
right.
You know, we're entrusted with a responsibility, and we need to be responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah.
said, this is our future.
Yeah, our children are our future.
They are our future, and I wish that I don't know how to get that message out.
Well, you do every day when you go work with the kids, one person at a time. As David saves one child at a time. Sometimes they're breaking up rings. I just watched a thing from a year ago where they broke up a ring of 39. I can tell you this, my family personally has been threatened by the black web, and I still can't get all the answers. So David, you know, I asked a question about the black web on one of the channels, and they told me, don't ever go there, don't look there, da 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 da.
We talk
However,
about
I didn't
training.
invite them in my life. I'm grandma running a styling salon, helping people change their lives through one dog at a time, who wants to bring awareness to not just little Miss Summer Wells, but make her tragedy, no matter how it looks or it finishes, into something that makes people think, right? That you need to know. If
All
you
the
touch
tragedy.
one person, educate one mom that says, would, would,
Exactly. You said
would,
it
you
perfect
said
there.
would, you gave my child a t-shirt with would, you're using would,
Yeah.
you shaved your head would,
Mhm.
the colors are would.
Mhm.
So, you
It would
know,
be
we
nice to
want,
even have all the information about those kinds of things, because I think that's something that changes ongoing as far as signs and symbols and emojis and what they mean. And I would like to have more information on, and be updated. So I can take it upon myself, you know, to go and get that information. But if we have a friend that can help us out, I mean, I would like to know.
so David's saying about Dawn and Candace spying on them.
He's
Because
saying
Jody Sue said she had a stalker.
she didn't want. He's saying Jodisue was spying on Dawn and Candace because she didn't want them as neighbors. So I could kind of understand why. I mean, it sounds like there is some personal conflict between those two, and then this child disappears. So,
Well, there was conflict before because she thought that, so you remember I had a stalker. Nobody believed me when I had a stalker. And then when the stalker actually, it came to fruition that he was really there, you know, everybody was like, oh no, I believed you. No, you didn't. I looked you dead in the eye. You were like, oh yeah, Claudia. No, nobody believed me. That's not true. And then she said that she put together that the dogs disappeared. The stalker might have been not been stalking her, but stalking her 5-year-old child. So David put up some information about the dark web. The only reason I'm curious is my family
I
is
don't want to go.
actually
I
threatened, right?
want to know information about things that we need to look for, you know, as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she also said a month before Dawn moved in. So Dawn was spending time with Jodisue at her house.
I've never heard Jody. I've never heard her say that. That doesn't mean that's not true. And it doesn't, I'm not the case expert. I'm the dog expert. And so the other question was, yes, Nicole, dogs, puppies are raised with get out of here and being kicked every time they come by, right? And
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Dogs are going to learn to hide at a very young age. That's what they're going to learn to do. And if the dogs, but my guess on the quietness of the dogs is it's so suspect outside of tranking them, which look on the property, all the dogs are fed together. They're troughs. Like they had like round, big troughs. You know how I did when I had a lot of property? Then I
Yep.
would have a trough for the horse,
Yep.
right? They're big troughs where it looks like they were just dumping in all the food from what I could assess. And somebody that's dog knowledgeable, could they put a tranquilize in there? Possibly, but you would have been able to test the dogs. Did anybody do that? I don't know.
No. So David is saying that Don was spying on Jodisue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that started way back when. But he's correct. This land thing, like, I didn't think it was that big a deal, even when I listened to Michelle Walks and her go through all of it. Listen to that. It's a huge, it didn't click in my head how big a deal it was until I was on the Drama Live. We'll just call that the Ziggy Drama Live. So, and then it definitely clicked. She's not playing over that land. That land, there's something with that.
So is Jodisue still on that land?
No, she's left due to a DV.
She left because of a DV, but I wasn't clear if she still lived there, if the land.
And I don't know her details. I think she's married to her husband, so she would have claims and right to that land. Yeah. I believe she grew up in that area. She went to high school. The person she was speaking with on the live the other night, they had gone to high school together. They knew all these people. They said things that there's such specific vernacular in that community. You know, like we have vernacular when we were growing up in New York. What's up? You know, right? We do this to say hi.
I don't do it anymore.
No, I don't either. But if I walked into New York, somebody did this to me, I would automatically be like, yeah, what's up? Right? So they literally said that you could be outsiders, could walk in, and they could be speaking and you would have no idea, but everybody in that community would know what they were talking about. And the land goes back generations and generations and generations. So we're going to do this again. Nicole's coming over tonight. She's bringing dinner.
Oh, Lord.
Dinner.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. And we're going to watch David. We're going to support David. We're going to support the truth. Right? Even if we don't like it, we're going to support it.
We are.
There's truth, what's admissible in court, what's not, and who's the bigger player, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to follow YouTube. We're going to discourage drama and encourage encouragement on YouTube. We want to be a part of the community where we talk all things dog. Do it again, Nicole. This for all our little kids and ladies if you're in trouble. And the reason I keep doing it is because it's muscle memory. So when you go into fight or flight, freeze, fight or flight, or appease, that's what she said. It was freeze, fight, flight, appease. And appease, I would assume in a scenario like that is you trying to get the person to make yourself a human being to somebody that is doing something horrific. Okay, freeze. So freeze, everything stops. It had happened to me in a meeting last night. I freeze and I'm going into fight or flight, and cortisol is dumping in my system. My blood pressure goes up, and I lose the ability in my frontal cortex to make appropriate decisions. Right? Yeah. Freeze, fight, flight, appease. Mm-hmm. So when you go into that, as I said, I related to Jodisue with having a stalker. When I go to scream, not a sound came out. Okay? The dogs don't seem to have this. They still seem to be able to bark, but not a sound. So I couldn't tell you my telephone number. I couldn't tell you all sorts of things. It made me do a whole thinking about what to do in a crisis, right? I actually went into training for it because I realized I was in trouble. So when I say muscle memory, I mean, you want to have muscle memory in case
do it like
that it's not a, oh my God, because you're going to freeze and you're going to forget. Whereas if you've practiced, or if you've taught a child to practice, because children are innocent by nature. Let's not take their innocence. Children are innocent by nature, and they need to be able to remember how they let somebody know they're in trouble, right? So I go into my dentist office here in Citrus County, and they have a sign up says, "Hey, if you're being trafficked."
I think I've seen that a few places around.
Right. So let's practice it with muscle memory. All right. That's why the kids love Paw Patrol, right? They should be able to go to the police and be safe. And Paw Patrol is all about repetition because children need repetition.
They do, absolutely.
David, it was such a pleasure. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. We're looking forward to tonight.
Yeah, we made a whole night out of it, and I got dinner.
Right now I gotta go find dinner.
Is Denise coming over?
Yeah, I'll bring her. She was waiting. I gotta have
David,
her.
we're going to have my niece watch this too.
I don't know if she's gonna watch it. She'll probably want.
Oh, she needs to watch it because the kids need to be able to tell the kids.
You know what? She absolutely. My battery is running low, so I might lose you.
That's all right. David, Nicole and I are going to be on your stream tonight. Did I miss anything?
Now let me move because I'm going to die.
You get it plugged in?
Yeah, I'm moving to go get it plugged in, so it might get loud for a minute.
So, Nicole, here's so interesting. You've got to read this because you're going to find super interesting. And I don't know if you're willing to tell your part of this story or not at this point in time.
Hold on.
David, Nicole gave a little bit of her brief. I've been in the dog business for 38 years, ran a positive reinforcement company called Heavenly Hounds, where I dealt specifically with children and dogs and specifically with dogs and aggression. I'm involved in the system via a child.
He's saying if summer was given to someone at the church, maybe, but they're blind or can't hear, and that's how the church talked to this person. I don't know what that means. Not sure.
Well, there's the church is the 7-day can you say that?
Adventist?
Yeah, say it again because I'm not saying it
Adventist?
right. Mm-hmm. Church, which also has been accused of being somewhat of a cult. So as a young girl, can you give us whatever insight you're comfortable with on being a child raised in a borderline cultish environment?
Well, you know, it was very closed and it was not very open to what my thought would be that you go to church for God and for community. It was, this is kind of how it is. This is what you believe. This is what you do. And, you know, it wasn't the best experience. You know, it had maybe some things that were positive, but I don't think it led me in a very good direction. It was hard to get out of. It didn't have, and then I think the church you're talking about, right, when we grew up, kind of blew up, and there was a big breakup and a lot of controversy. It was very closed. It was maybe a lot of manipulation and a lot of, it wasn't really a good experience. I guess now that I really honestly truly think I've thought about it in a long time. And as an older person, I think I was involved in another church that was also just not the best. And that's why I seek, you know, churches that are positive and have community, and it's supposed to be there for what it should be for.
Right. And I'm going to say that in Fort Lauderdale, the church that my sister's speaking about actually is also qualified as a cult.
Yeah, and that's right. And it's been a long time since I even thought about that. I talked to someone who I knew from a long time ago, and he has a lot of resentment over the issues that went down. You know, growing up, we went to a certain time at a certain place. You did a certain thing. You took certain classes. You went to conferences. And, people go to church for help, but unfortunately, you also can sometimes attract influences that are not what you want it to be at church.
You're saying it so nice. I'm going to say it a little nicer because it's not so nice because I wasn't involved. I was the bigger sister. I'm the older sister.
Mm-hmm.
So I had already moved out. I was a runner as a kid. I was brought up in what we would now call the metaphysical, and then became a Christian. However, I'd always got, because I like the animal energy, I'm always very tuned to signs and symbols and body language, and did not like that, and stayed in touch with my sister throughout all those years because
hard.
I was worried when she needed to get out, she needed to have an avenue to get out.
It was closed. It was like you couldn't get in.
I wasn't allowed. I didn't fit their mold because I was a little too outspoken, which is why I don't care who says what about who. When we're in America, when people are speaking their true opinion, whether you like it or you don't like it, that's what makes us us. So that very much. But the thing is, and where I want to back David up is, even in the church growing up with my children's friends, I can't tell you how many times we found out people that were dating people, right? Moms that were looking for husbands who were the interests in the church, who were the good guys helping with all the single moms and their kids, and then were arrested because they were SAing children. Because that is where this type of element likes to be, around the children. We just discussed
the truth. That's the
yesterday with the sports.
No, I know. I mean, I have children, and I do things with them, and I keep them busy. And there's been situations where, like I said, sometimes when you're doing these things, or you're introduced to people and they're going to have a certain role, maybe you need to go to the registry and look them up. That's all I'm going to say, because you might be surprised who winds up on it. But in church, you go to church to be safe. You should Look, you should be safe at school, you should be safe at home, and you should be safe at church. But unfortunately, that is not always our world.
No, but you need to know the signs and symbols. And when you go to church, you're not always going for the people, you're going for the message. Okay, amen. You're not always going for the people, you're not going for the message. I just popped up that, and I don't know what Jodisue's religious, I don't even know if she's a part of that church.
I don't know. I didn't know.
However, we do know this. I'm going to back David up again. Churches, and I'm not putting down churches, I'm a Christian, right? I do believe you need a community of strong, healthy people. I know in our community, you don't go hungry. This community, at a church, there is a meal at a church somewhere in this community. They are making sure that homeless and people with addiction issues, that no matter what it is your needs are, that you can get help in this community. However, churches throughout history have reputations with SA amongst the church, starting with Catholic and going down. Right now, Nicole's a Catholic, so I'm not being offensive in any way.
Well, I've been going to a different church actually, but yes. And I've had good experiences in the churches that I've had here since I've lived in this town. But you have to be careful, and that's something I've learned the hard way.
Right. And Robin is the woman that was involved with Jodisue. And listen, we know more about women too, right? They can be very much involved in this. And I know that they're going after these kind of guys are going after young women that have opioid issues and children, because they can start grooming them into helping them make a quick buck to feed their habit, as the new show Dope Sick talks about how horrific being dope sick is. And I'm not dope sick. I'm telling you what I've learned. So and David's tying in all these things because they all could be possibilities. Speculation alert. They definitely could be possibilities. And the church, you people are trained to know this by now. You can see it, and you're defending her.
Probably about 4.
Who am I defending, David? Robin or Jodisue?
Yeah.
I'm not defending anybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the information, so I'd like to get more information.
Yeah, you know.
You know, we
So
had
the
hoped that
information you
was
have,
really cool, but now we're learning some more information. And information is what we don't, you know.
right? What we're doing is just thinking fair. We're not making judgments before we don't have. We're beyond tonight to get the information you have. And I know that churches can be dirty. However, I don't have your facts. I don't know what you know.
Saying is the church wouldn't talk. I think
Because if Summer was given to someone at the church, maybe they're blind or can't see her.
Oh my goodness.
The church talked to this person. It's possible. It is. I would like to say that that's all innocent. The same thing why I like anybody that's willing to question the authorities, because you can have that much authority and think you're above. You can become so arrogant you think you're above the law.
And that's happened.
I've witnessed it. I've dealt with it. Mm-hmm. You know, that bullying happens all the time.
It does.
So this to me is fascinating. David, you got me on this. You know why I would find that fascinating, Nicole?
Why?
Because if you were to go into any place of incarceration, do you know how they're going to communicate with each other?
Sign language.
What are we teaching right here, right? I have a
yeah, visuals.
What are we teaching right here? What is this?
Signs.
Signs, symbols,
no,
powers and principalities.
I would ask, not to throw us off here, but if they see us teaching that with the people out there, we don't, you know, this now has become something that everybody's going to know about. So,
well, I don't think the awareness is out there quite at that level. I mean, even when you have YouTubers that have 10 and 12,000 followers, that is just a drop in the world, right? That's what they need to be able to start really making money with YouTube. But that's not, you know, you start getting to people with hundreds and thousands followers. But and why does she know sign language? Does she know sign language?
Yeah,
and why would? Because it's a way to communicate without people. The behavioral panel does it all the time. They do it. You and I could do it on here, right? We could have little.
Yeah, well, they do it in sports too. They have signs and
cues, tells, little things that will tell you what's going on. And I'm going to tell you that is how you jail, prison. That is how they communicate. It is a way to communicate. And why would a 5-year-old that doesn't have unless, you know, the school was teaching it, they teach sometimes.
Well, we do sometimes for the nonverbals. We work with signs. So you're going to have to put some coffee on because I think we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight.
Why, what's going on?
Yeah, I really hope she's not involved. I really hope she's completely innocent. That video we're going to put up is, you know, I wanted to put it up because it gave emotion. It gave real life, feel it emotion. When Robin did her sermon on Christmas Day, Robin, you better not be involved. It gave real life emotion. When she talked about Paw Patrol, you knew that Summer loved those toys. Why Candace gave them up, I don't know.
Yeah.
But you talked about doing loving things like cleaning them, right? And you felt it when Candace spoke about the princesses of Frozen, right? I didn't feel that same thing. When I listened to Jodisue cry, I haven't heard anybody cry over Summer. Really cry, right? I hear lots of people scream about how they're on Summer's side, but I didn't hear anybody really cry.
He says she's got no moral values whatsoever. That's Jodisue, right?
Yeah, that must be his. Yeah, he's definitely not a Jodisue fan. Yeah. He calls her a narcissist too. Yeah, and David's saying he doesn't really care. He just wants to find Summer. I believe him.
Well, that's really what it's about.
Yeah. That is really what it's about. It is really, and it's about not just, well, I'm going to say it's about a little bit more is why we're doing an awareness campaign. Okay. Because we need to find little Summer and she needs to be able to survive and thrive, right? She needs to go from victim to victorious. She needs to thrive and survive. And we need a campaign, whether it's in her name or any child's name, that makes us regular people. That's why I love YouTube. Be aware of the things we otherwise weren't aware of. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know. And a child is so easily manipulated. Okay. I'm in business and I get easily manipulated. A child is so easily manipulated. And these people that groom these children, I groom dogs, right? So I know how to get a dog to behave. I know how to get a puppy to behave. I know exactly what stage they're going to go through when. Okay. Second nature to me. And that is the person that is grooming little ones too. And we have to know more than just signs on a bathroom that say, hey, if this is, and they don't know what they don't know. If they grow up and they believe that's how everybody else is growing up, how do they even know to do this, right?
No,
I
yeah.
didn't realize when I talk about being a child like Summer that I was in New Mexico, okay, so I wasn't always a city slicker, all right? I grew up in New Mexico, was born in Chicago, did the hippie van thing with my mom, and wound up in New Mexico, and I was absolutely a kid at risk. However, when I was going through all those things, I didn't know. I had no idea.
That's the
I
problem.
didn't know what a sign, right? We didn't know until we got exposed to other people. I went, oh, your household's different than mine. Oh, my parents don't act like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I spilled the milk. You ever had a kid over your house that spilled the milk and
Mm-hmm.
freaks out? You ever been that kid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're definitely, hey guys, who else is going to be on watching David? And if you ever want to come on our show, they're trying, he says, trying. Oh, he's saying that they could be putting her with somebody that only talks sign language. David knows a lot about this.
Yeah, I'm glad that we met.
This guy, David Dotson, it's creepy. I know you don't know this much about it because we've only really discussed the dogs, but David Dotson's creepy. And the other thing he did, super creepy, is after, Summer gets her head shaved and, you work in the school system. You don't shave a kid's head bald for life. That's not what you do. It doesn't even, to shave it bald, there's no hair. If there's nits in the house, they're coming back. Come on, guys, let's talk about this for real. It's not even a shameful subject. They like clean hair.
Yeah.
They don't like dirty hair. In fact,
That's a big misconception.
Yeah, clean every single night. The odds of her having lice were less than the super clean kid right next to her.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just get for real on that. And you don't shave a kid's head bald. And children, I know they can take clippers and stuff, but that's not a typical.
The bangs, they like to take the scissors to the bangs.
To the bangs, I like to say take the scissors to the bang. But David Dotson, he literally was there, showed up, disappeared, and shaved all his hair and then disappeared. Signs and symbols. It's just, this guy's creepy. And David, I don't know you, but I don't want to know you because I think and I'm pretty good about picking out creeps.
If Summer Wells was sold to some good woman, she could.
Read it out loud, Nicole. Go ahead, read it out loud.
He's saying if Summer Wells was sold to some good woman, she would or wrote a letter and tell people she's all right and why she took Summer. This way, if she was caught, her lawyer would say she found her.
So I'm going to say, Nicole, because I know you're not as up to date, right? I'm not the true crime expert here. On What's Up, Dog? What? And Summer Wells had a puppy named Lucky, who she liked to call yucky because she couldn't say lucky. So she called him what? Because her and her puppy are going to bring awareness.
On the side of road on drugs with no clothes on.
So he's talking about an internal adoption. Apparently, somewhere in this church, they have like off-grid adoptions. And I find this so interesting because when I watched Chris McDonough last night of the Interview Room with Don Wells' sister, which I'll have to send you to the link, Mary, who Don has openly admitted to SAing when he was 12 and she was 5.
Yes.
And then he went to prison for it. And then he came out, and according to her, he went to go right back at her, and he has been in and out of prison his whole life. And the longest that she was aware of that he has been able to stay clean has been 6 months. Is that she said that she was going to adopt his oldest child, Don, I think is Don Jr. Correct me if I'm wrong, David.
The first relationship.
Who's now a classified SA offender. And they backed out of the adoption. But he was going to sign his son over. The mother backed out. And I don't know if anybody's heard my so I believe that's what David's alluding to, that there could have been an off the grid adoption.
Okay, that makes a little sense.
Mm-hmm. And then he's saying that he was trying to do the sale of his children also on the side of the road. Yes, because Don Wells has an incredible history. You know, for somebody that doesn't hang out and is trying to be such a good guy and he's just hanging out with church people and doesn't do opioids and this and that, all you have to do is look at the most relevant recent history, and we know that Don is not telling the truth. This is, you know, because I'm going to advocate for anybody that's willing to change their lives. I will tell you, though, as far as I know statistically, hey, Dina, people with the predilection towards youth, that is not something that gets rehabilitated. Just going to say. And David thinks that might be happening to keep her safe. So the other theory, I believe David's also saying, is that maybe somebody took her to get her out of there. That somebody actually got.
Would they then have a whole investigation saying she's missing?
Well, yeah. Everybody's looking for her.
No, but if someone took her to keep her safe, I don't know.
If that's true, they might be in a situation where, you know, they might feel vicarious about contacting. I mean, listen, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, okay? And that's what Jodisue was saying last night.
That's such a good case scenario, that she's safe and with somebody that's keeping her safe, and she's clean and she's playing with toys and yeah, it's a theory. He's theorizing. Speculation alert, speculation alert. Speculation. He's giving us theories.
If they saw her on the side of the road and didn't bring her back, and now for 6 months everyone's looking for her, would they?
So remember, she goes down a dog. Let me make this real for you. The bloodhound, remember how we started? Things are fluid, right? We started one area, we're here. The bloodhound gets the scent going down what Don Wells, that he didn't even really know was there until recently, goes down the dog trail, and that's where the bloodhound loses the scent. So did somebody come by at that point and snatch her up? I think that, I do think, David, that Jodisue knows more than she's either able to say or willing to say. And I will say that she may have a gag order on her with the police, but, and the boys have not been the boys have been very much interviewed, but we don't know their version. But I know that people are speculating about guilt with those boys. I believe that manipulation and guilt was used on these boys all the time. So they would be in habits of saying they were sorry for things that they weren't responsible for. But the best case scenario is that she's safe, she's sure that she's safe.
Mm-hmm.
That she's safe, and that would be the absolute best case scenario. The other best case scenario is that she's found alive. That's the other best case scenario, is that she is found alive, like little Cleo, and we have something to celebrate, right?
Yes.
That everybody can do what they do in their head with, oh, what did this child suffer? But we know that we now have survivors that have YouTube channels talking about the atrocities that happened to them, and they are able to live good, healthy, pay it forward, productive lives with families. So this is very interesting too, because this would also
Jodisue has motive and is out of her mind on cancer drugs and other drugs at times. So how she will act out, who knows? Okay.
it's a fair point. My ex just passed of cancer, and people definitely took advantage of him
Mm-hmm.
with all the medications that he was on, because he wasn't in his right mind, right? That's what a lot of those drugs do. So that is that is an incredibly valid thing to say, and not to hurt her feelings. I've been her biggest fan. However, the evidence will tell the story. That's the facts, right?
Yes.
That's the facts. And then what will be, and the best case scenario is that we find her. Now, I don't think I'm going to find her. David might find her.
Yeah.
David might find her. David's that, but I'm going to support anybody that's breaking down the system. David, I'm telling you a cute story. I had gotten involved before. I didn't even know these groups had been taken down. So Nicole, apparently, I had gotten involved. Apparently, a lot of the it used to be hashtag Save the Children. And I had gotten involved in the hashtag Save the Children, right? And then something about that got contaminated. It was being misused, and it got really contaminated. That's not why I got out of it. Apparently it's not even up anymore, but I didn't know this until I watched a YouTube the other night. But when so Nicole sells Lime Life. She's the makeup lady.
Makeup lady.
And I went to put a post in there, and I hit the wrong thing, and I wound up putting an ad for you in the group. And I wound up in a huge fight.
Okay, yeah, you told me about that.
Remember that? I got really upset because I didn't realize I had done it. The woman, I guess, was another representative or had a family member that was a representative and had gone ballistic on me about it, which made me mad because I was like, hey, aren't we all on the same side? Isn't this about the children? And you can do whatever you want, but that was really an accident. I didn't mean to do it. And let me pull it down. So because of that incident, I left the group. I was like, well, that's too much drama for me. And
yeah.
You know what I mean? If that's how they're going to communicate amongst each other, this isn't the community that I want to be in. I want to bring awareness so that children can also be aware, right? Stranger danger, as we used to say in the day, which Earl from Predator Hunter says, it's no longer stranger danger. You have to be more aware than that. Yep. You have to be aware of where people's hands are going or what they're deflecting with. It is evolved from stranger danger to just danger. As I would say to my kids, if you're a deer in the wood and you think you're in danger, leave. Do like the deer and leave, right? Don't think you're the lion. Take the flight path. Flee, right? Because a predator can pounce, right? So, so I removed myself from that group because I wanted to promote something positive, which is why we're doing the tongue twister for Summer, because it would make her giggle. It would make any child giggle to hear that they're official members. And I'm officially a dog person around real official dogs in a real official community that says we want to bring awareness to any child that is going through this, that any child is getting that. And if they jump on YouTube, because they do, that they know a signal, they believe in the Paw Patrol police, right? Because they don't know what they don't know. They don't know until they learn that it's not correct. And it doesn't sound like in when I listen to Don Wells that he has any real, that he's capable of thinking that that's not normal. In his prison mentality brain, which, by the way, Don, they don't like pedophiles there. So he doesn't, his capacity of thinking isn't that of someone that is, I believe, is capable of understanding. He, you know, his brain can be so damaged from all those drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
And, you know, and Candace might have, you know, because she's such a drinker, you know, these people go on in public intoxication all the time. All the time. So, you know, when somebody's intoxicated like that, she might have gone into agreement, speculation. She might have gone into agreement and not really meant what she said, just like the last incident where the woman was going to give up her children and then went out of agreement. And she might have gone in agreement in a drunken stupor and then gone out of agreement, and it happened anyway. They might, you know, they might be holding it over her head. We could have been wrong with the whole Gabby. David, were we wrong with Gabby and Brian, the Mohab?
You can say.
Did Brian Laundrie, is he responsible for the Mohab murders? Is Brian not responsible for anything and just being a jerky boyfriend? Is that all he's really guilty of, or is he guilty of more?
I don't know that he can tell us that. I think he said something about he's not allowed to say.
FBI won't let him talk, but I can ask the questions. I absolutely can ask the questions, because I listening to that the other night on people that have been tracking this and doing this. I was like, oh my, think so. Now let's go back to Bullhorn Betty and Molly Golightly, because they were the protesters outside of the Laundrie's home. So what's the truth about the parents?
Yeah.
The parents look dirty.
Yeah.
Right? Is there more to the story? Because they look pretty dirty. That's what they were called, the dirty laundries. Then they were out there screaming obscenities. I heard major players get on there and tell Brian he should go end his life as a favor to everybody in this case. Could you imagine if there's a completely separate murderer and Brian wasn't?
Oh, yeah.
That's drama, honey.
Mm,
That's drama.
that's horrible.
Put corn oil all over the place. What does corn oil do, David?
He said she put trail cam all over the place before Summer went missing. Where are the pictures?
Oh yeah, the pictures. Yeah, Nicole, where are the pictures? They got erased.
Now we have to.
So that she puts the trail cams. Let me just update you on why. Because they're doing all this land. They're selling land, and the outsiders are coming in and buying the land. Jodisue doesn't want that land property going up, right? So everything's relative. The land here is higher, taxes, property, right? The land in New York, and then the land in the rural area of Tennessee, where they've owned these lands forever. Now these outsiders are coming in. It's beautiful. It's rural. The prices in comparison to other areas in places are dirt cheap, right? That's all a matter of perspective, right? It's not actually a matter of actual dollar amounts. It's a matter of how much you are willing to spend or have in those dollar amounts. And all of us, so she has all these cams up for all these reasons. And All those pictures are gone. Where are they?
Good question. It just seems like we have more questions.
Yeah. Well, we're not the only ones. You know, we did this on 9 o'clock. We do our What's Up Dog. This was a Sunday. So on the coffee channel, hey Rose, on the coffee club, my page, which I'm going to turn into a coffee channel. We'll do more where I call you up like I did the other night and go, how did I wind up in the middle of YouTube drama? How did I sit up on a panel where they're going to talk about abuse and then I'm going to watch it go down? And I can't get off. I didn't know how to get off. I was like, oh God, I'm awkward and I'm stuck.
Gosh.
Ooh, 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 ooh. Did he get all 4 cameras? I don't even know how many cameras were there. Did he get all 4?
I don't know.
He may not have. Remember, fight, freeze, fight, flight, appease.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why Candace was running around the property? Oh, I think because they got some of the cameras, David. Then they got erased. I know they have some of them. And Candace, you know, when she originally tells the stories, if my kid was missing, you better believe, even if I called the police, I'd be out there screaming. I had a little one missing. He went out to play. He went into a friend's house. I stepped out. I didn't see him. The whole world, the world got so huge. It became so huge, and everything went wah, wah, wah. So in that moment, you know, but is that really what she did? Because she was on the FaceTime with Don the whole time, or was he guiding her to cameras?
Yeah, good question.
It's speculation, just speculation. Did they get all the cameras? Why would anybody erase anything off those cameras? Why? Why? If you're so worried about what these land people are doing,
Can they
why would
prove?
when that would capture everything?
Yeah, well,
Isn't that the point of them?
yes. That's why we put them up.
Yeah, that's why we put them up. That's why they put them up even where people go hunting now. You can catch all sorts of things. Yeah, that was a good question, man. A good speculation. What was this?
The pictures would give Jodisue the land that she wants.
Should give her the land that she. So, oh, you think somebody, not Jodisue, erased those pictures? Because all the deeds were like literally in somebody's house. That's how all of this goes back. Like one person had all the deeds. So Jodisue was literally having everything surveyed. Like they were out there. That's why they have pictures of all these properties, is because there was so much going on about the drama in this. What's going to start attention to this little area is this land. Summer, just like Gabby Petito, is going to break it open. Well, I'm going to say Gabby's parents are going to break it open. Gabby Petito's parents and their tenacity to say, I don't care, we're going to find my daughter, right, is what breaks it open. And Summer, and in both cases, I guarantee nobody expected to get the attention that they're getting. So I do not believe that they at all thought Summer Wells was going to get this kind of attention and become the awareness poster child, nor Gabby. So, and then I'm really curious to see what happens with Brian Laundrie, the Moab murders, which all happens to be right around the same area that Summer Wells is missing. What are the odds? How could we not be glued to our TVs? And you know there's movies coming out. There's already specials and documentaries and
she got something, and Don Wells thinks that he got all the pictures, but she didn't remove one trail cam, so Don would not know what was there. So do they have pictures then?
It sounds like David says they do, but we don't know. And I wonder if when they do, because I do believe the only reason I'm saying this speculation is that Chris McDonough says, sit down and be quiet because indictments are coming.
Because he found 3 and didn't find the 4th that she had. Okay. So there was 4.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like David knows exactly what's going on, and that's what they could do: freeze, fight, or flight. Your brain, no matter how you're trying to do it, right? Then oh shit, and they're running around getting all the things or hiding things, just like Don Wells went directly to the shed, right? So when he gets home and the police, he doesn't go directly to his wife. He doesn't go directly to a police officer. He goes to a shed. Does he go to a shed to hide drugs? Does he go to a shed because he's checking, right? Is he checking to make sure there is evidence or there's no evidence? Is he simply putting away his drug paraphernalia? Because obviously it doesn't seem to him that it matters if the police know who his dealer is, right? Because I'm going to go buy $2,000 worth of drugs and give it away. He's going to take all the police right to the dealer's house, and the dealer's going to be okay with that? Because that's what dealers like. They want, hey, what's up, Don? You got all the cops with you just following you around? You need $2,000 worth of drugs to go give away? Yeah, no problem. What's up, Hawkins? I don't know what drug dealers Don's around. Because the drug dealers I know, or I'd say I know, the drug dealers that I've been around definitely would not go, hey, what's up? So popos.
Yeah. He's saying it's cheaper to buy a pack of cameras, so you get it would be cheaper to buy 4 at a time than buy 1 at a time. So
that's true. I'd have them up in the salon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And anybody that's ever been stalked has cameras because they want to know who's coming to their house, and they don't announce it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Because you have to be aware. I had a stalker. I had a little mini horse, David, and my grandson was in the house, and he came on the property and broke that little baby's neck. And they would leave me beer cans and all sorts of stuff to let me know. They'd move my horse's buckets to let me know that they were on the property. And they would, as the reason I had to leave is, they're going to escalate. And it started to escalate, and I had to get out of there. That the dogs told me he was there. The reason I found out was because of the dogs. The dogs were on such high alert all the time. And they literally would protect me.
He's saying it's the trail cams have numbers and they're sequential.
Oh, ooh, smart. So that's how they know there's missing the 4th one. We talk about anxiety. Could you imagine just the amount of anxiety waiting for this to come down?
No, I'm having anxiety. It's not even happening to me directly.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what happened with the drama the other night too, is I think people have gotten, I think a lot of people have gotten really greedy. I think once money starts rolling in, people lose their head and start getting greedy. And 2 is I think that people have become incredibly emotionally involved because, I don't think there's many people in America today that don't deal with somebody that has had a drug issue or haven't watched drug issues destroy families. So that's number 1. And then the abuse, pulling it to the forefront. We all have family and we know what goes on. And then with all the in the house, we haven't been able to get to kids. I know my girlfriend works for the school system, did all meals, because during the lockdowns, kids weren't eating. Yeah, David knows a lot. And cameras are great because they've made me do this, right? As an employer and a leader, because you always have to look at things through what I call a legalistic eye, because we're doing some speculation here. However, what I always do is say, well, there's my truth, there's your truth, and there's the truth on the camera.
Yep.
And that you would be amazed at how many times I hear very dramatic stories and how somebody was very, very wronged. And all of a sudden their story gets super less dramatic when they know that it was caught on camera, including verbiage, because the cameras that we have at Handstopaws also pick up audio, which is critical, right? It's critical. So I know a lot of times people will, they'll embellish the story. They're not per se lying. However, Nicole, do you remember this? We were brought up with this. There's an out and out lie. This is what Chuck Vossler used to say to me all the time. There's an out and out lie. There's a lie by exaggeration. That's a lie. Okay? There's a lie by omission, which means you left out the major content, right? And then there's an out and out lie. I'm just going to fabricate a whole story for you.
Yep.
And then I would say I'll add another one to that, and there's lying by perspective. So you might not, your perspective might be different, and you're not per se lying, but you're standing by what your perspective is at that moment. Such as sometimes when people embellish because they're feeling all the emotions of it, so they add to it to make it a little bit more.
Yep.
So super interesting. So Nicole is, what time is it?
3:20. So
hi Rose, we're still doing our campaign for summer. Happy New Year, guys. So what are your goals? I'll tell you what my goal is. My goal is to work on What's Up Dog. My goal is to run a tighter, sharper business where we are developing towards the goals of phenomenal care, of people being able to change their lives by being able to come in and work with the dogs, by having an open door policy in our salon, by providing the best service we can provide, and we're growing. My goal is to help create awareness because I've been so inspired by great people like David, Michelle, and to become a part of the community that I'd really like to be a part of.
well, David, you're gonna have to save some of this content for tonight. So it seems like we're gonna have a long night.
Yeah, we're gonna go look up you, David. We so appreciate you. I don't know what made you come to this little tiny channel to check us out. Grateful. I'm going to put up, remember when you're doing this awareness, guys, this is purposely, well, it didn't start out purposely a tongue twister, but it's a tongue twister. It's to make a child giggle. It's to honor Summer Wells with real dogs because she would get a kick out of her name and her being Paw Patrol member, and that she's our official awareness to learn the things that you've been teaching us, signs, symbols, remember, principles, principalities, right? If you can break down family principles, you break them down in principalities, you open doors. Let's not open those doors. Let's help shut those doors. Yeah. Innocent should stay innocent, right? We don't have slavery anymore. Slavery got abolished, guys. We don't need a new form of slavery in the world. That's not what we need.
But that is kind of what has happened.
Yes. We do not need SA slavery. That is not okay. That is across every yellow, black, white, purple, brown. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Remember, humans are the same in every culture. In every culture. It doesn't really matter if you're from the hills of Tennessee or if you're from the hood in New York, right? Or if you're from Europe. It doesn't. People do the same things. It's what they do. And we need people like David, Evil Exists, Predator Nation, going out and hunting down the bad guys, right? So they can't hunt down the innocent, right?
Right.
Can I get an agreement on that? Agree. So children don't know that they're being tortured or anything. until they have a different perspective, until something else has been shown to them. But women, vet your men. Okay? Wait for a good one. And if you're in trouble and there is DV going on and you're in trouble, this is the signal. And teachers, police, firemen, women, moms, dads, teach your little ones the symbol, right? Because as much as you want to be there for them all the time, something can happen when you're not there. Or some of the most trusted people you can invite into your home can be the most devious. Evil comes in pretty packages. It doesn't come covered in evil. It comes so that you'll invite it in, right?
Yep.
I'm doing it wrong. Remember to practice because it's muscle memory. And if your brain goes into fight or flight or freeze, that is when the moment you're not going to remember something. That is when muscle memory counts. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Oh, Nicole, can you do it? He said my camera's out of focus. It's the green screen. Can you do it? Thank you, David. Okay, do it a few times because we're doing the muscle memory. Right. So if somebody's teaching a little child sign language, because sign language is definitely a form of communication, it's meant for the deaf and blind, right? I practice it because there's a need for it. And if you've been incarcerated, you know sign language. I have not personally been incarcerated, but I have been exposed to many who have been incarcerated. That's a story for another day. And they definitely know how to speak sign language. It's part of the gig. So, and that would make sense to me. The behavioral panel does it when they're talking. I haven't figured out all their tells and signs yet, but they absolutely do it. I've done it with my crew. If we have a volatile human being in the salon, right? We have little signs to let somebody else know so we can handle it without creating a confrontational situation.
Oh, he's saying that the cam on the property,
yeah,
caught a man with a beard. Okay.
Caught a man with a what?
A red beard and breed. I don't know what that breed word means there. But.
I wonder if that was
I thought
the other guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
And a beard. Remember? The guy shaved all his hair off. Showed up. Very, very, very interesting. Now, why would those other cams be gone? How is convenient is that the pieces of information, the tools to gather the information don't have the pictures on them? Red beard. Is that the guy, David? Is that the guy that went and shaved everything off? The creeper? I don't know this man, but he gives me the creeps. Speculation. Speculation alert. All right, Nicole, looks like people have checked in and they have checked out.
Well, it looks like we'll get a better education later on.
Yep, David, we're going to be on your live. You definitely got us both with beta. I got dinner out of it.
Oh, I got to find dinner. I got to find dinner. Got to find dinner, and I'm going to be short on time, and I'm always short on time, so.
Yeah, we're not any. I still have work to do, but.
I'll find something.
Yeah, right, David. We're going to go get New Year's Day is going to be about your live. Isn't that exciting? Rose, Lisa, everybody, I'm going to tell you when I'm tuning in. I'm going to put David's stuff up so that everybody can tune in. If you watch this, if you can't watch it live, that's fine because there'll be a recap. Just go ahead and subscribe. We haven't really asked a lot of people to subscribe to us yet because we want to make sure you actually like the content. And I believe that everybody that has been on YouTube knows what to do, right? If you like that, then you go hit like and subscribe. So we're learning. So we're not, you know, we're still going, hey, we're gonna learn. But David has been on, so go like and subscribe to him. You can get a notification when he comes on. And if you can't catch it, you can always catch a recap. And you can still make comments. You can't get the answers right away like you can when you're live, but you will. People go back, they answer. These are real people doing this, guys, and they're fascinating. So Nicole and I will definitely be talking about the live. So if you want to keep up, jump on David's lives, and if he wants us to jump on with him, we'll do it one at a time. David, you don't have to deal with the total sister act, but we want to help you get the word out, because we want to just, there's nothing we can do but educate. There's nothing we can do but follow and say, hey, our hearts bleed for this little girl and her family too, because this abuse started way before Don and Candace. According to his sister Mary, okay, I just swallowed wrong.
Oh,
Yeah. So I didn't really want to choke on camera.
no.
But according to his sister Mary, from the Chris McDonough interview, Don's father, I don't know if this is just from her, was a really good guy. And he got divorced when Don was young, and the mom kept the kids. And Don blamed him. That's where his issues stem, was blaming him for abandonment. And then apparently he had an abusive stepfather. Candace, you know, I'm not quite sure, because Rose Bly, her sister, disappeared. And her mother, who they called Grandis, also seems to have quite a history. Not very grandmotherly history,
Yeah.
I might add. So just to throw that out there. And then, sorry, Don, but, you know, the most relevant we can look at for future history is your recent past history. And the addiction being thrown all over the internet definitely doesn't work in your favor. The one thing I would say for the Laundries is they absolutely exercise their right not to say a word. And we, all of us that followed that case, might have to turn around and go, oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, it wasn't Brian. He was just being a jerk. He didn't, right? Wouldn't that be something? And it's a friend of Grandis. Yeah, Grandis seems to not be very grandmotherly. Like, this is not the grandma you'd want. And again, you got to be able to break your own chain of a cycle of abuse, right? After 18, you're
Yep.
pretty accountable for yourself. Your parents can do what they can do. They can pour all the love into you. But if you don't go get some psychological help, if you don't go deal with these issues, they show up. It's just like when I talk about training dogs. If you don't generate that energy somewhere, it's going to come out. And unfortunately, in animals, if they don't have somewhere to generate their energy, it can come out also as aggression.
Yep.
Just like with children, right?
Yeah. He's saying Grandis had a friend that had red hair and a truck. Backseat.
Is that the boyfriend? Ren sent us a video on the boyfriend. Did I send you that video? Is that the boyfriend, David? I have a video I have to go rewatch. I'll have you watch it too. Ren sent us a video. Ren's going to be like, I tried to tell you. Wow, David. Really appreciate all the conversation. That's fantastic. So I'm going to upload the little Summer Wells video that my team did with their tongue twisters. I still don't have Nicole on there. I've got to go do a short of Nicole trying to say it. I hope everybody promotes it. It's strictly for awareness. It has nothing to do with money. It's strictly for awareness. It's to make people aware of, I know David knows what I'm talking, powers and principalities. Nicole, I know you know what we're talking. And anybody in that culture would know what powers and principalities means, right? We're talking about, and I heard this great thing. Chase Hughes, who deals a lot in hypnosis, who's part of the behavioral problem panel, you can go into agreement with something if your perception is deceived. So if your perception is, I'm going to get chocolate ice cream and chocolate cake from somebody that's trustworthy, right? This is very simplistic. Somebody that's trustworthy, that's my perception. I could go to a concert and my perception is I'm going to have a great time, but the perception was distorted and you were deceived, right? You could go into agreement where you meant no agreement, right? Does that make sense, Nicole?
Yes, he's saying that there's DNA on a soda can that was left in the truck. Interesting.
Is that the Mountain Dews? Were they soda cans or were they bottles?
Well, he did say a bottle. I'm sorry. He's saying orange crush bottle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There was also speculation that they drugged her. Did you see that picture, that last picture of her in the truck, Nicole?
With the milk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
It's kind of odd. Not what I would have done or had. I think he drank the orange crush and then put the cap back on, sealing his DNA under the cap bottle.
Ah, ha, 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 ha. Ooh, David, you're smart. Isn't that interesting? Because there was speculation that they drugged her and that because her fingers look swollen, there was speculation that she wasn't even alive in that picture. There's speculation.
Well, I heard that they thought she was. So. Yep.
You can see why.
Yeah.
One of the other things that on these channels that they changed my complete awareness on was when you go back and you look through Summer's pictures, they pointed out that you can see there's one of them where there's no denying the black eye. I'm not going to say what that means on the channel. However, if you don't know what that means in young children, you need to know because it'll make you want to, it's trauma alert. Okay. So when you see little kids with black eyes, you need to double check. And I'll explain to you later, Nicole. And if you don't know,
I don't know.
You need to go look it up because it is very important information. That information I received from the group that I was in, which I had just recently learned they took all those groups down. But why? Why did they take those groups down? What harm are those groups? They're, maybe they're not perfect. Maybe that's not the community you want to be in, but they're giving good education. So why did they all go away?
I don't know.
I don't either. I thought it's just a good question to bring up. Why can't us moms and grandmas, why can't we educate and know? We want to know what the signs and symbols are. We've all known people in our lives. There was one in, what did they say? What's the statistics, Nicole? In a group of 10 children, how many of those children
I don't know the statistic, but I'm going to say it's probably pretty high. Probably higher than it is lower.
Yeah. I can tell you almost from every person I speak to, I can tell a story from one of that person's family's members, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, you got me looking up the black eye thing, so you're going to have to tell me.
Now you only have to see what area the Orange Crush bottle came from and where it was bought. Yeah, indictments are coming. I've been saying that there will be resolution. This is gonna blow up. And will they let us in the courtroom? Will they allow us to be a part of this? is the next question. Is there going to be a huge ring? Which was my question to Jodisue. Is a ring going to get broken up? Is there a ring? How far does this go? Because
Brandes don't drink soda because she's us diabetics sometimes drink soda, but okay. And she gave sugar-free candy to Summer. Okay, so what you're saying is if there was soda in the car, it would have been diet, maybe.
yeah, was it diet?
I'm gonna argue. Sometimes if my sugar might be low, I have a regular soda in my car.
Okay.
But I'm
Good
going to
one.
argue that. But I'm not.
Mm-hmm. That's what a defense lawyer would argue. When I hear all these stories changing, what I hear is setting up for defense. What you're setting up for is reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
What you're setting up for is a trial, right? You start throwing out different scenarios that could be, right? Pointing the fingers on who's who, but they're going to blow it up. If they have people like David that's going out and finding stuff, they're doing that deep dive. I know that the FBI doesn't turn around with DNA overnight. As much as we would like them to give us all the instant gratification, the gratification isn't instant, and they have got to do their job. And I'm all for people calling out any kind of corruption. That's what we need to do, right? We need to call it out. We get these people in trusted positions. However, we also have to respect that they need to do their jobs, whether we like it or not. They have to do their jobs. And if they're going after a ring, Don Wells might be the lowest on that pack. They might not just find Summer, they may find 38 or 39 kids, right? Because why don't we get all that coverage when they find truckloads of children? Why don't we get that coverage?
He's saying that it must have belonged to the man with the red hair.
The man with the red hair. Is that the man that shaved all the hair off?
Yes, I believe it is. I believe it might be.
Was he Grandis's buddy? Were they making a deal with him? Were they renting and not expecting? Because the one thing David, do you think that this was all orchestrated ahead of time and they're just really bad at following through with the plan? Or do you think that something went sideways and she didn't expect that to happen and she expected to have her little girl available? I mean, they were both violent too. And the DV that goes on in the house, Nicole, I don't know if because I wake up at night and I'll turn on YouTube. So I'll hear a lot of these phone calls that the YouTubers do, but the DV and the verbal assaults, they're classic. They're classic, create a learned helplessness situation. By the way, people, let's talk about that. Learned helplessness is when you're in a situation that you feel helpless to get out of. That is a term that we as women used to learn in DV shelters called learned help. Dogs have learned helplessness. Could those dogs have had learned helplessness? Not completely, because they ran around wild.
Yeah.
Because they were wild. So they weren't like a domestic dog being in.
So do the police have that? I'm sorry that he's talking about the crushed bottle. So where's the crushed bottle?
They would have it as evidence it was in the car. They would have to have it as evidence to get DNA off of it. Right. And they're throwing all the stones right now because they're creating diversions for alibis. I believe Don knows he's going. What Bullhorn Betty and Molly Golightly keep saying is that they do. They're not wrong. They have enough to put Don Wells in jail right now without even being linked to the case of Summer Wells, just based on his actions. Okay. So, like I said, I'm having a hard time believing that any drug dealer is letting Don Wells come to his house with the popos right behind him. What's up, Joe? What's up? Okay, just having a really hard time with that one. However,
Hmm.
Oh, he doesn't think they knew?
They had this person there, and she handed it
Oh my
to.
God. Could you imagine if your mother betrayed you like that? Speculation alert. Trauma alert. We had an abusive mom, and I can't imagine. However, let me tell you this, guys. I had an abusive mom. She never was around my kids. That didn't save one of my kids from getting in a lot of trouble. Oh, is he covering? He says it all the time. He's covering for her. And Rose Bly is Candace's sister who disappeared, who's never been found. They just reopened up that cold case. Chris McDonough made sure that happened, that got that cold case got reopened. Boy, does he have questions about that. So he's saying
Summer Wells get sold a pass on yet. So okay.
And my concern, David, is in a criminal's mind, you have to have evidence. If they don't have Summer, they don't have the evidence. That's what concerns me. Why would they hang on to her? Are they just that not, which is possible. They're not, listen, the people in the cartel are that afraid, not afraid of authority. So does the authority mean, are they that not afraid of authority and more interested in the money? Or could you imagine if that was your mom and the conflict with someone like Candace, and then to be accused and then have your whole past thrown up at you? And I know people can go on there and say they don't have this or they don't, so, you know, like Bullhorn, but at least she admits to that she's had some kind of a past and that she's not an angel, right? And any Christian out there, they don't claim to be angels. We claim to have to ask for forgiveness every day because we didn't do perfect. That's what made us the humans we are, is our experiences.
Go get dressed, okay? Do you have a haircut? Give me a minute, okay?
So he's saying, tell him, you know, if that happened, it's so crushing, horrible. However, I still believe that Don possibly was SAing Summer. I think that's been made very clear, which is another thing. Remember, I sent you that with Jodisue, where she says she goes over to the house. The last time she sees Summer, there's no bathroom on their bathroom door. And I had 2 female roommates, and we didn't have a bathroom door. And I'm going to tell you what, it was awkward. And the way the house was set up, right? My bedroom would go directly there, and then, but you could actually get in there and not be seen. It wasn't like it was just open to the room, and there were no children. And he came out of the shower with little Summer, who was 5, which isn't uncommon. That doesn't make somebody participate in SA. It's just with Don's history, it's completely inappropriate. Oh, the reward money might keep her alive. There is a lot of reward money out there. He's right. The reward money will keep her alive. That's what they did with little Chloe. They sent out tons of reward money right away, and it made a difference. I don't know, because there was an open DCF case when Summer goes missing. So there was already an open case. Jodisue's been on many times saying that DCF was out there all the time. In fact, she did a whole video on it where she was defending why she herself didn't call DCF. And apparently she had in the past. I know there was an open case when this went down. Did she actually call DCF that last time that she says she saw Summer, which was with Dawn? No bathroom door. That must be awkward. Nicole, I know you're not as involved in this case, but Dawn literally in the beginning was going to the bathroom and doing a live. I mean, this man has no issue, no shame in his game, right? Like, literally, he was on a live because they're always intoxicated, and he was literally going to the bathroom on the toilet.
Okay,
That's
well,
right. So did she report that? I would hope that she said it live over YouTube. So I'm absolutely sure the police pay attention to the content on YouTube, and I would assume
I'm sure
that
that they
she
do.
them. Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah.
The police are monitoring all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I mean, first of all, you've got to get you have to get permission from Facebook and a lot of social networking, and you can tie them up and block a lot of things. And I don't think they can get the amount of time that they were on FaceTime, but I don't think they can actually get FaceTime yet but you know, they can get the pings of the they can get the, hey girl, I'm live. That's all right, I'm live, honey. I'll call you right back. Okay, just call me when you're outside because you're gonna make all the dogs bark. Okay, bye. She's a liar. She never called anyone.
Oh, he's saying she wouldn't have done it because of the land.
Oh, because of the fight. Because I'm telling you, this land thing goes deep. When Michelle first did her video on it, she was like super serious. And I was like, I'm not quite sure what this has to do with anything. Boy, was I wrong. Whoa, you devil's in the details, and everything is around this land. He's not wrong. I will tell you, for my 2 seconds with Jodisue, the 2 seconds that I had with her, it was very much about that land. It was very, very much about the land. And then, like I said, the other question I asked was, is there a ring? Was it about to be broken? She wasn't going there at all. I'm not sure even if, as a guest like that, I was supposed to ask that, but I did. You think they were coming to get her? The government was coming to get her for a case to remove her from the home?
Now, Grandis thought no one would care if Summer went missing. Her own daughter went, and no one cared. So why would they care about Summer?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Nicole. It's a complete replay of history, except Summer's 5. So you know how they say things go. You know what I mean? It's an unresolved issue, and it's such a, you know, the sins of the family. It's such an unresolved. How I mean, I've had great tragedy in my life, but to have 2 missing, a child, a daughter, and a granddaughter. And I'll tell you what.
He's saying there's gold in the hills, and that might have been the value of the land.
Yeah, because it's all about that land. It is all about that land. If I didn't believe that.
Water, if they want to mine there in the future.
What was it?
The mining company needs water because they want to mine there in the future. So now it seems like there's more players.
That would make so much more sense, right? Why even a couple of parcels? She was trying to buy some of that land before the outsiders came in. It's gonna make such a great book.
Make a good Netflix show.
Yeah, Grizzly True Crime. She should write this book. And you know, all these people, if they don't get arrested or indicted, they're going to be famous. They're going to be famous. There's going to be books. There's going to be movies. There's going to be. I'm sure they're being approached already. Yeah. So, and if that is any of this comes to fruition, and this is all that stuff that comes out, could you imagine the deception? It's, you know, to put yourself out there like that if you're not on the side of Summer. And people shouldn't fight about being on the side of Summer. You're either on the side or you're not. You do not say that you don't want to hear somebody abused and then say those words, right? Watch your words. And if you do, I'm going to give that other person credit for apologizing to the person.
She needs water for her land. It cuts her out with the part that she wants.
That would be pretty horrible to let a child be sacrificed over some land. So, and according to her, the last time she saw Summer, she was naked, coming out of a shower with no door. And Nicole, you're going to look up to see if what Molly from Molly Goes Lightly said about being able to send the boys things, because they're just as much victims.
I believe there's probably an agency you could send it to. I just, like we had a main agency that you can donate things to, but to get it to the boys, probably be a good question for that caseworker if we can, so we have to find out.
Okay. Because I would assume they would need things too.
Yeah, but then
that family would need things.
The system would be giving them things. I mean, if they're in foster care, they would be provided with, they should be provided with things.
Yes, but is that actually enough?
It depends where he is on the family. I mean, I guess that can be a whole different lie, but a family will often make sure. I mean, they get funds, but a lot of times families will go out of their way. So,
and that would depend on the family's financial needs or what they had or didn't have.
There's often other people involved with the court, and they have advocates that also help provide. I don't know. We have to find out.
In a case like this, Nicole, would those boys be always under supervision when they're around their parents?
Absolutely, it would be supervised. It would be a supervised visit.
It would also be filmed?
No, it would be supervised, maybe at the child welfare agency or in public or someplace deemed appropriate by the court. But do you think she's been gone 6 months now? How long will this person be a babysitter for? I don't know.
How long? I don't think long. I believe once the wheels of justice really start turning, once they're able to get these indictments and get the arrests and start putting the pieces together and throw these people in rooms, I think they're going to start turning on each other. Mm-hmm. I don't think any. I think people are loyal until it comes to their prison sentence.
I think people are loyal up until a certain point, period, but that could be a different life.
First one to make a deal, David. Who's going to be the first one to make a deal? Because it's the one that can make the deal the quickest. And I understand that Don's, there's got to be snitches. There's no way in this drug addicted community, which isn't indicative of Tennessee. Okay, it's an epidemic everywhere. It is an epidemic, but they're snitching on each other. There's just no way they're not. Mm-hmm. It's the nature of the beast. They might be scared because you have to think prisoners know prisoners, right? They might be scared even if they say something. They go into a prison. Yep. That the other people in that prison that are involved, because prisons are run by gangs. Let's just call it what it is. Okay, prisons are run by gangs. You might want to believe that they're run by prison guards and rules and laws. And they're not. They're run by gangs. So it could be a real threat if you open your mouth, right? Snitches get stitches, so to speak. Yep. But these guys are snitching. Once they're throwing it in front of you, they're snitching. They're going to call each other out. They get dope sick. These feds, they're not dumb. They know if you get dope sick, they get dope sick, they're going to start crying for their dope. They'll say anything. Okay,
he said the FBI is not helping. They won't put up the money. They spent $250 a day looking for Gabby and Brian, but not 1 cent reward for Summer Wells.
Why is that? And it was $250 a day for a search where the parents just walked out and found his bones. I mean, that was the most bizarre, ridiculous thing ever. So we spent all that money, and the laundries just went right here, and it's here, floating right here. And I don't understand why you missed all this. Because the water was high. Really?
Yeah.
Really? I live here. It was ridiculous. I mean, come on. All the drones, everything, the water, the dogs couldn't pick up the bag. They couldn't pick up the book. Aren't you dying to know what's in that book? And then I heard somebody, I have this total speculation, but I heard somebody say that they knew that Brian was shot in the eye and it's almost impossible to commit suicide. Trauma alert, shooting yourself in the eye. I lost somebody, by the way. So if this is hitting somebody's trauma alert, at New Year's Eve, 25 years ago now, somebody had shot themselves that I adored on New Year's Eve. So please, if this is a trauma alert, you think they have an ego problem? Look at the FBI. Okay, so there's that. There is that. Yeah, because that's ridiculous. That we all watched it, right?
Yep.
News Nation, Brian Enton. No, it was Brian Enton, and it was Brian Enton and JB. Did you watch any of that, Nicole and JB?
No.
He's there. They were circling.
Bits of it.
The laundries went to the store.
I watched bits of it. I didn't get, obviously I probably need to get more details on that because I wasn't even aware of everything you're saying. But when she first went missing, yeah, we did follow the story for obvious reasons. So that's discussed before.
Here, Nicole, I'm going to put you up front. Hold on a second. Oops, I meant to remove me from the stream, not you.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight. If you're still going on, David, let us know. Now, we've talked about a lot so far. Just a little bit of time. It's been a while.
It's my team. She looks like she's recovering from New Year's Eve. I hope my team had a great New Year's. They most certainly deserve to have a great New Year's. So yeah, the FBI and the police can have huge egos. You can have huge egos when you're put in situations where you don't have to follow the rules of everybody else, right? And that you can get away with things. So the idea though is not to have corruption. And don't you feel like there was a deal with the FBI with the laundries? There had to be. It was just, when you talk about a perfect storm, you're telling me that the laundry just walked out there and had the perfect storm. And then you've got Molly, Bullhorn Betty and Molly Golightly in front of their house, right? Dirty laundries. We all followed. Well, I followed it. Nicole, I know you were busy, but I followed it. That's the only reason I when I saw Molly Golightly, who apparently was on Wife Swap like 7 years ago. Do you remember that show where they would switch households? It wasn't like as in nasty Wife Swap. They would just switch households. That's on YouTube. I thought because I remember that. I thought that was funny. And Don also was running guns, I believe, and drugs to Mexico.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's got a past, and you have to be careful what you read and how you interpret things. But he definitely has a past. Yeah, Ren. Dave. What time's David going to be on, Nicole?
He said I thought 6:45.
6:45 tonight. He's going to be on. Nicole and I are going to look for it. We're going to post it. David, you're going to get a whole bunch of viewers tonight.
If he'll come back.
Not that I have that many viewers. I just have, and I'm not on my Handstopaws page, but I'm just on my personal and YouTube.
I'm going to go back to the comments and double check.
Hold on, let me do this in order. David Cohen, Ren.
6:45. Yeah.
Let me give it to her right now. Yeah, he keeps going back to the land, and I've got to say, I don't know as much as everybody else, but I know in my 2 seconds, Jodisue was about that land. She was all about that land. And if you watch her video, she goes through it, through the land, the land, the land. That's what those people were doing. Even when Candace does her interview with Chris from the interview room, she talks about that you couldn't even see the road before that those parts that was cleared out. And I believe they were selling 2 parcels. They were not happy about it. So 6:45, guys, I'm going to put out a thing for everybody to watch David. And we are happy to go live with you. I am dying to know how Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito turn out. No matter what, we know Brian, we have him on film. Gabby was way too upset. I know when I watched it originally, I was like, what is wrong with those men? Why are they sending that young lady to spend the night in a van by herself while they send him to a hotel room when she is obviously distraught? Right? And it shouldn't have mattered if she had a mental illness or whatever. She was OCD. That's what victims do. They blame themselves, right?
Yeah.
So, but he may not have murdered her, according to speculation. Wouldn't that be? But the proof will come out, and that these 3 things, the Gabby Petito and the Mohab murders with those 2 women that just got married and by all reports absolutely adored each other, who saw a creepy man and reported it, and then Summer Wells are all in the same area. What are the odds? What would the statistics be behind that?
I don't know.
And who does know?
Yeah.
And where is Grandis?
Where is Grandis?
Yeah, where is Grandma? Where'd you go? And is there DNA with the man with the red beard?
He said there
When
is.
are the appointments coming? When will there be resolution? How do we keep knowledge out there so that this doesn't die down? When Summer gets found and gets help rehabilitation, how do we keep it where that doesn't die down? Because they're not done. They're not done. They don't want you educated to know about the signs and the symbols.
No, they don't.
They don't. They want you to help you to promote them. Right? Because you can go into agreement without knowing you're going into agreement, because you only know what you know. You don't know what you know. No. He must be under a different name. David Wren's not finding you. Cohen, David. That'd be terrible if we were catfished. Well, if we were, it still brought great conversation, right?
Yes. I don't know if there's a way to. Don't let her go. To click on his comments and find him. I don't know.
Well, all he has to do is use Summer Wells in his video tonight, and we can find him, because I get all I'm subscribed to so many of the channels. and
Okay.
I've absolutely adored it. I've absolutely loved watching people grow their channels. I've loved learning from them. I've learned the etiquette. I've learned what's, you know, acceptable and transparency, as because we're so green. And everything was great. And even though I wound up in that drama, which I absolutely didn't mean to be involved in, I actually got an opportunity to ask some questions and to watch that unfold in real life. So it was, you know, that still was a great learning experience.
Okay. Well, I think I might hop off so I can get ready to.
Okay, because yep, it's 6:45. We got to be on and watch, see what David says, and if he wants us on his panel, we have absolutely offered to jump on. Ren, hope you're on too. This is so interesting. And then remember, guys, and I'm going to post it's going to be my last New Year's post for the evening, and I'm going to post that on YouTube, on Handstopaws, and on Claudia Olson. Thanks, David. See you for dinner, Nicole.
Okay.